What's up again? It's Garson, and I'm hyped for a couple reasons. For one, we got to 1,000 subs, so thank you. I'll talk about that in a moment, but I also got a request to do a True Strike build, but also I wanted to show you some Flame Blade. Oh my gosh. Alright, here we go. Check this out. We got our Flame Blade out. Let's get Minthar's buff going. Here we go. And as always, we'll start some mayhem. So, True Strike does not aggress anybody. Oh, what'd you do that for? Well, I did it because I'm gonna hit you with that. There we go. Alright, let's fish for some crits. Ready? So again, advantage. There we go. Guaranteed hit. We got the advantage now. Now we have 99% accuracy. Crit. Almost. So we got 30 damage on that one. Alright, so let's go ahead, back off over here. And then we'll get some Invis Potion over here. Cool. Alright, let's go. Try to hit me. Get by with my friends. That's right. Come on, Murphy. Ooh. No, don't hurt the evil cleric I'm building. No. Alright, get your butt down here. Huzzah. Now he's gonna search for him. Ready? You show yourself. Alright, let's get back into some Flame Blade action. Ready? Okay, so now we've been building up some Acuity, Arcane Acuity. So every time we swing, we actually get a little more accurate with Flame Blade in and of itself. Plus, we'll be able to land spells. So, whack that guy right there. And now, we can go ahead and use our remaining action. Concentrate on this and this one. Hold you down. And now, when I swing with Flame Blade, it's always a crit. Whoa, bam. Alright, so what we can do is now Firebolt, crits when you're up close. Boom. I can walk over here, and we get two nasty critical hits with our Flame Blade, just like a fighter, or a paladin, or a ranger. 2 strikes and you're done. Whoa, bam. So, we've done it. We did True Strike, Flame Blade as a build, but honestly, I gotta say, hold on, pop out some notes. Thank you so much, because it's been a wild ride. It's been a blast. It's only 1,000 subs to some, but to me it's like climbing a mountain, and it's thanks to not just me but you guys watching. If you want to support the channel, stick around to the end. I'm going to show you another cool idea, build, whatnot, but this actually once again came from a request because you guys are awesome. Mystica keeps coming into the live chat, keeps putting in awesome comments, and Miska's here to remind us that True Strike does in fact still exist. It's pretty good. It has a bad rep. I'm here to show you one way, a fun way to use it. Ready? And even Olio's like, yo, I would love to see a True Strike build. Well, hopefully this satisfies both of you, alright? So thank you guys again, but let's get into it. This is True Strike on a true Flame Blade build. Honest to goodness, you can use True Strike on this kind of build, right? So let's actually talk about these few things, and of course, there's no better place to start. Talk about True Strike. And I'll kind of give you the rundown on True Strike, right? It is a cantrip. As you can see, it didn't aggro anybody when I first started it, and I can prove that by coming over here. So there's some interesting traits to this, right? First off, doesn't make anybody aggressive, even though they go, stop that tomfoolery. They don't really go after me. Also, when they have this condition, it guarantees advantage for the next attack roll, okay? But you'll have to concentrate on it. It has a huge range. The int doesn't really matter, so there's different ways to actually get this cantrip. But it has a bad rep because it costs 2 turns. In fact, the turn you cast it is, in fact, a turn. So if you've already used your action to concentrate on this, and it's 2 turns, it'll take a whole nother turn to come back, get your action, and then you can use your weapon attack, which also uses an action, right? But it is 100%. It doesn't cause aggressiveness, so you could actually cast it before you get into a fight for a major lock-in advantage on attack. Maybe use it for sneak attack. There's different ways to really utilize this, and that's why I kind of wanted to highlight it a little bit more, especially because it was on request, right? So, we got here. Okay. Alright, so check it out. We have 100% on landing it, doesn't matter what our spellcasting modifier is. We do have non-aggressive. It is a cantrip, so it doesn't blow any spell slots, right? But we do have to concentrate, so this doesn't really mix well all with like haste or say spike growth or anything, but I found a way to, on this build, to actually make it work pretty well. It's divination, so it's not like an enchantment or an illusion spell where you could use the Mystic Scoundrel ring. there's a ring that you can get that'll allow you to attack with your weapon and then use a cantrip on your bonus action or an enchantment spell on your bonus action. So can we do that? Can we not use an action but instead use a bonus action? Well, as far as I know, you guys have to let me know, but I don't think so. We can't use the Mystic Scoundrel because this is divination, and we could use Hold Person on our bonus action, but yeah, there's not really a way I think you can use it. So you would need 2 actions or Bloodlust or Haste or something to cast this and then attack, which isn't a bad idea because it does give you True Strike, gives you advantage, so you could land your sneak attack, or if you do it this way, use your action and then use your rogue sneak attack with an offhand attack. You would use your offhand ability or whatnot. Here, let's put a dagger on. Okay. We can now use an offhand attack and use a sneak attack as a reaction, and we can do that sneak attack because our rogue could have True Strike advantage, okay? So that's one way to use it, but hold on. Who said we have to use our actions to attack, right? Like I said with the rogue example, but first off, let's look at enter Flameblade, right? So Flameblade is interesting because we can force it to spawn in the correct hand that we want it to. Normally it's going to be your main hand, but if you're already dual wielding, check it out. We can actually make it spawn in the offhand. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a second. So this only lasts for 10 turns, but in those 10 turns, it'll like be a weapon that's equipped on you, and that's how you use it. So we can even upcast it to be a little stronger with every even level spell slot. So at level 4 it goes up a d6, at level 6 it would go up to 2d6. So keep note of that number, by the way. But yeah, if you're willing to use more higher spell slots, it'll get stronger, okay? So Mini's buff actually increases it too. So this is a little caveat that people don't seem to understand about Flameblade and Soul Branding. Is a very unique buff. I don't know. Flameblade, I did a whole video on how weird this is, and we found out about this. Check it out. So Soul Branding, if you didn't know, when you use Minthara's Soul Branding, you get a little 5 feet of movement, and you get a whole 3d9 of fire damage added to that weapon attack, but it'll go away once you successfully land a weapon attack. That's not true for Flameblade. So now check this out. We are now adding a 1d6 for my gloves, 3d6 from casting the blade, and a 2d4 plus 1. That's from Minthara's buff, and it doesn't go away on strike. So I can now cast True Strike. Okay. And I can now walk up to you. Now keep an eye on the Soul Branding. Didn't go away. And I landed a massive critical hit thanks to that extra dice damage. It all doubled up and whatnot, right? So we're actually just going to scoot on back. Whoop. Okay. So it requires no fighting style too. You can see that I did full damage and pretty effectively, right? I don't need 2 weapon fighting. I don't need to dip into fighter for this. It just works because of the weird properties of Flameblade. I can use it as a really powerful offhand ability without speccing into fighting style. And unlike dexterity and strength normal weapons, I don't get a bonus to the damage anyway, or the accuracy from those stats. So let me show you real quick. Load back in. Loading it. There we go. A little loaded it slowly here. But yeah, it uses your spell attack, right? So if we hop on over to here, it uses our spell attack for accuracy. That's +5 wisdom, or rather our spell attack based on whatever you're using, wisdom, charisma, or whatnot. You have to plan it out, Rel. But it's using +10 to land the flame blade, okay? So unlike a normal weapon, which would get a bonus of damage from, say, let's see, right here. Okay, dexterity, right? So dexterity gives us accuracy and damage when we're using normal weapons. So strength and dex does that. So unlike that, Flameblade actually just gets the spell attack, and that's how you hit with it. The way you increase its damage is, like I said, from Minthara or upcasting it to a higher level, okay? So I'll just give you the crash course from that video. You can check it out another time. But the elemental ring does not work. So it's not like you can keep hitting with it and it keeps increasing its damage or rolling into the effects. Doesn't work. Drake Sorcerer, you don't need to go level 6 Fire Sorcerer for this. It doesn't actually apply it. Again, weird properties. Arcane Synergy, sad because True Strike would cause a condition to make Arcane Synergy Helmet work, and that would add 5 more damage, but it doesn't work with Flameblade. works on other weapons, so use that. Okay, and then Savage Attacker does work. Savage Attacker raises our potential damage when we're doing a lot of dice damage. It's going to take each and every dice and roll them twice and take the higher of the damage. So it really has a major effect on our damage rolls. Fire Acuity, when we do any kind of fire damage, it's going to raise that spell attack accuracy by 2 every hit. So this actually brings us up to 12, then 14, and then 16. And it does even better than that. It raises spell save DC. That's why I can cast Hold Person so effectively after a couple hits. Okay? And yes, it can critically hit. So thanks to the advantage of True Strike, it's easier to hit and easier to crit. But also, once we hold person and paralyze people, we can guarantee a hit and a crit. And crits are very important on this build. Do you know why? Because if you land a d20, just as a crash course, you will guarantee a hit. It bypasses all accuracy, and you do double the dice damage. So when we deal critical hits, it's huge, right? And it doesn't have to be a 20 if we build it correctly. There are items like the Dead Shot that lets you lower the required roll to critical hit. So instead of a 20, we can get to 19. But it can stack with an elixir, so that's 18. But it can stack with spell snipers, so that's 17. And it can stack with other items, so that's 16 or higher. And thanks to True Strike, we gain advantage. So we roll 2 dice and take the higher of 2. Okay, so that means if both dice, if one of them hits 10 and the other hits 17, we landed a critical hit. So we have way higher chance to crit if we use advantage thanks to True Strike. So let's actually look at the build. Here we go. I'll show you what's under the hood and how it all works together. Here we go. Okay, so if we look at Jaheira's build here real quick, what I'm doing is just that. We're going to use Thief 4. We get a second bonus action right down here. So we get 2 bonus actions just innately, so we can strike twice like a fighter or a paladin or a ranger with our weapon. We'll just be doing it in a weird, funny way. We use Land Druid because the more spell slots we have, the more usage of Flame Blade we get, and we can also recover one of our usage from natural recovery from being a druid. Okay, so there's a lot of ways you could build this, but this is the way I made it simple for us to understand. And I might even try this in my own honor runs, because dexterity, we start with 16, gives us a lot of stuff: armor class, initiative, but also we can use our regular weapons, dexterity weapons, when we're not using the flame blade. Okay, constitution for a little more concentration on that True Strike or Hold Person, and just generally get some HP. And if we start with 17 wisdom, we get the hag wisdom, we'll go up to 18, and eventually with one of our feats, we can reach as high as 20 or even 22 with the mirror, but we'll save it for later, right? Spell sniper, I think you should go first. You get firebolt, which I wanted because now I have a ranged cantrip, I have a ranged attack that also uses my wisdom, and I have a cool firebolt. So I feel like a fire spellblade pyromaniac. It's awesome. But this also lowers your critical hit for both firebolt and flame blade, so you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. Savage Attacker only works on weapon attacks in melee, but that's great because that's the point of the build, and we do a lot of dice damage when we add in Mintharas or we upcast or whatnot, right? And then 2 wisdom for later on when you want to max things out, okay? Our gear here is critical gear. We're going to use all of these to get to 16 or higher. I'm talking about the bow, the Undermountain, and the elixir and spell sniper add up to 16 or higher with advantage. That's very high odds to crit. Okay, and then we have the Helldust gloves. You can think of this 1d6 as spending a whole nother higher spell slot, 2 spell slots even, because if we upcast this, we get 1d6. So these gloves almost practically enhance all of our fire blades for free as if we upcasted them. And then fire acuity, we can land our spells a lot easier. So this makes the accuracy, anytime you land a fire damage, you get more spell save and spell attack. So this is going to make it easier to land flame blade, but also eventually land Hold Person for guaranteed criticals or some other spells, right? Cat Cloth gives us 2 more dexterity for a lot of other benefits. We know what that does. And then the amulet, this is going to make our cantrip actually hurt a little bit more because we add that 5 wisdom damage to the cantrip damage on top of the 3d10, and the 3d10 might even crit. So that's awesome. And then just use whatever boots you want. I don't really have the best choice here just yet. Still experimenting, but check it out. We'll get into this. And anyway, we're probably not going to fight one, but just so you know, you can run into a lot of fire resistance, but that's not a problem as long as you have a buddy with arsonist oil, okay? So even though this robot here has some fire resistance, if we use arsonist oil on our weapon, we can actually bypass it for 2 turns, ignoring the fire resistances. You ready? So, oh yeah, it's always nice to be wanted. I feel that. So let's go ahead, get you going. Rev up the engines, and let's try it one more time. Like I said, True Strike does not start combat. Pretty cool. So use that in your own builds. But check this out. Wha-bam! Did a nice solid 30 damage. There we go. And I'm going to peel back the notes. Let's see if we can see the damage numbers. Check what's under the hood. So right now we didn't crit, but you can see wisdom is our accuracy, including the gloves, the proficiency, and the D20s we were talking about. We have advantage, so one more would have critted. And they're savage attacker, so even though it's a spell, it is a weapon, it's melee, so we're getting savage attacker to reroll the dice. We're getting better odds for our damage on the weapon, okay? So let's keep going. Like I said, while we're hitting, we're also getting more accuracy from Acuity. So what we'll do is keep guaranteeing the hit with True Strike using our action, and we'll use our bonus action and whack them. There we go. Okay. I'll have Galehide over here. Go. Nope. And nope. All right. Nope. Yeah. Looking for Gale. Where'd he go? Alright, and then Murphy's gonna throw, and Mithara's gonna go flying. Whoa! Whoa! Alright, so let's get back into the action. So like I said, True Strike, I'm gonna guarantee the hit almost perfectly, because Acuity is so high now, and the advantage is going to make this a piece of cake. Bam! So, we got that. We got Fireball, but also thanks to these gloves, we get this awesome Raise cantrip. That does a lot of damage. So we can use that on our action, not just True Strike. And then we get another swing, so we feel like a Spellblade. There we go. Can't hit me, because I got some buddies giving me haste. There we go. And then I think we still have one turn of Soul Branding, so I think it's about to end. There we go. If you get hit, you lose the Acuity, but again, True Strike really makes it so, at the very least, we're always hitting with Flame Blade and potentially critting. So, here we go. Soul Branding ended. That's okay. If we line up our team correctly, we can always cast it back on. And because, like I said, just the weird nature of Flame Blade, right? When we strike with Flame Blade, Soul Branding, right here, does not go away. Interesting. Interesting. So it's all working just like we intended. Okay, and then once we get enough Acuity, instead of concentrating on True Strike to guarantee a hit on Flame Blade, we can eventually get enough Acuity that we can hold down somebody with Hold Person very accurately, and we still have our bonus action to use as a attack and do massive damage with the critical hits, right? So check that out. Nice. 66 damage. You're in hell, boy. Alright, so one more strike and he's done. But of course, if there's Hold Person, if you already got a Hold Person up, you can now use your 2 actions for Firebolts and your 2 bonus actions for your melee, and they all crit against the Hold Person. Boom! So that's gonna do it. That's the build. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly do. I want to play this in a build because what do I usually say? Hey, how do you even play this? A level 12 build, that's great and all, but how does it work in theory, like beyond theory, in practice? So I try to play the game in honor mode on stream for you guys, and we test cool builds like this, not because I can play the game, but I think everybody would enjoy honor mode if they just give it a shot, and you can bring any build to the table as long as you know it's under the hood and how to build it. And that's why I give you guys the Lego building blocks to do it yourself. And thank you so much for coming into the stream, supporting me, getting me 1,000 subs. So I'm just going to say, who's our sponsor? You are. Thank you so much. If you want to support the channel, just keep watching. I'm having a blast. I'm going to end it right there. Go get some Flame Blade True Strike action yourself and have some fun in honor mode. And I'll check you out in the next stream or the next video. But seriously, guys, thank you so much and bless you. I'll see you in the next one.